Today we're going to take a look at the GT301 case from Asus. We're going to look at some specs, we're going to evaluate the package quality, and we're also going to take a look at some features that you may or not may care about. Let's get started. Okay, so in terms of the specs, this case supports any motherboard from mini ITX to micro ATX and normal size ATX. The dimensions here are 21 centimeters wide, 48 centimeters in height, 42 centimeters in length. So not that wide of a case, but it is a bit high, so make sure you have enough space if you put it under the desk or something like that. The weight of the case is 7 kilograms, which is not that light, to be honest, but it is made of steel. You also have tempered glass, so it kind of makes sense. In terms of I/O, you have two USB 3.2 Gen 1 I/O in the front and a microphone, a headphone combo jack. You have up to total 6 hard drive bays. You got 7 horizontal PCI Express slots. You don't have like vertical GPU mount or something like that. Maximum GPU length is 32 centimeters. Maximum CPU cooler height is a bit surprising. It's 16 centimeters, which if you consider the fact this case is not that wide, it's nice to see that because you have a lot of coolers these days, you know, especially like the big Noctua coolers that can easily get to like 15.8 centimeters. So if you go for like a cooler like that, you'll have place for that. If you want to go with water cooling, you can put up to 360 millimeters radiator in the front. Let's open the box and see what we have inside. Let's talk about the packaging. Asus are using here not the best material. As you can see, I can like easily bend it here, and then yeah, it doesn't look that good. It can easily like fall apart. It's not the worst, but it's also not the best. At this price point, you can also not expect too much because you do get like a Asus case with 4 pre-built fans. 3 of them are RGB, and you got like tempered glass as well. So it is what it is. In terms of the design, I really like what Asus did here. It does look very good. I like the front mesh in the front with like the straps. The tempered glass looks fantastic. You can also feel right away the build quality is pretty good. So over here you can see the metal design. It does have a bit of a flex over here, but nothing too crazy. Once you put a motherboard here, it will get a bit more rigid. The finish is actually pretty, like it's pretty spectacular, to be honest. So over here you can see the front I/O. You have your 2 USB 3.2, which are not colored in blue for some reason. I guess they wanted to leave it black to go with the whole like color scheme. You have your power button, you have your LED, which feels a bit weird, like you need to press it a bit more than the power button. I guess they made it intentional, so you won't change your LED by mistake. And you also have the reset button next to it. I don't like this implementation, to be honest, because you can easily like get confused and press the reset button instead of like the LED button. I would like to see maybe this button like on the other side, and then it's easy like to remember which is which. Over here you can see these 2 black things, which are pretty interesting. It's something you can take out, and you will see in a moment why they did that. Let's open it up. So overall the case looks beautiful. You got the Asus TUF Gaming logo over here. There's a built-in RGB controller, which wasn't mentioned in the specs, but it's really nice to see it. For $99 you get like 4 fans and an RGB controller, so it's actually pretty good value, especially when the case, the build quality is really good. And over here we got like a small package. So you got your zip ties, you got your motherboard screws. Nice addition that they did here. I wish a lot more companies did that these days. It's like an adapter for the motherboard standoffs. You have the motherboard standoffs, and usually they are configured in a way that it's for normal size ATX motherboards. If you have like a mini ITX or micro ATX motherboard, you'll need to change the position of the standoffs. These standoffs using M5 bit, and you know, sometimes you don't have like an M5 bit laying around. What they do is give you like an adapter from a Phillips head screw to an M5 bit. You can take like a normal Phillips screw and then take the standoff out. and change it like that. It's a really nice addition. Not a lot of case manufacturers doing that, and it's nice to see Asus do that. I think the only one I've seen doing that was like MSI or Cooler Master. They have also this kind of adapters to take the standoffs out, so it's a really nice touch. You also get like this zip ties, which are Velcro with the TUF Gaming logo, which also looks pretty nice. I really like those, I use them a lot. And you get this piece. This thing is actually used for a headphone stand. So what you do is basically take this thing out and you can put this over here. Now you do need to secure that with a screw, but once you secured it, you do have yourself a pretty nice headphone stand. Over here you can see the hard drive cages, your 3.5-inch hard drive cages with the mounts also for SSDs. This hard drive cage is actually removable. Let's see, if we take the filter out, you have two places you can put the hard drive cage. If you want, you can take it out completely, because to be honest, who is using normal hard drive these days? With how cheap SSD got, it doesn't really make sense, but I will see this useful, especially if you put like a big beefy power supply here and you have like tons of cables and stuff like that, so you can remove this to make sure that the cable management is right here in the bottom. Other than that, you have a place for SSD over here. Over here in the front you can put another SSD over here. Now I realize that I did confuse you a bit, because I don't see place for 4 SSDs over here. Just looks like you have this one and the one on the front, and I guess what they meant in the specifications with 4 SSD bays, maybe they were referring this place over here. Like if you don't put like normal hard drive, then you can put SSDs over here. It's a bit confusing in terms of how Asus market this. I hope they can make it a bit more clearer. Overall, no complaints, especially when you have M.2 SSDs these days, at least 1 or 2 on every modern motherboard you have. Over here you can see the mount for the fans, the 2 fans we talked about that you can put over here. So let's say you want to put a radiator, water cooling, you can take these fans out and then move them over here. I would recommend in this case, if you want to go with water cooling, go with the double rad, like 240. And then you can take just 2 fans out, leave 1 here, and then you can move 2 fans up at the top. Make sure they face the blades up so it can take hot air off. You can also change the position of this fan over here as well if you really wanted to. And yeah, other than that, looks like a really solid case overall. Good build quality. I really like the design. It's compact, but you can pretty much build whatever computer you like in a case like that. It's nice to see the RGB controller, and overall I'm really pleased. Now if you want to take the front panel off in order to get access to the fans, to remove them, what I usually recommend is just to get a grip on the case, put it like on a table or something, put one hand over here so you can hold it down, and then you have like a bumped space over here that you can put your hand, and then you just press out until it gets out. Now what I like to see here, that the front panel I/O is like a separate thing of its own, so when you take the front panel off, you don't have any cables like stuck in here, which is pretty nice, and it's easier to work that way. In terms of the fan quality, so the RGB fans actually look pretty solid. I like that there is barely any flex, which is good because it means that they also will be pretty quiet. Back fan over here feels a bit more better quality, and also no flex, so wouldn't be worried about any noise or performance issues with these fans. They look pretty solid. If you are considering buying the Asus GT301, you can use the links in the video description down below. It's a good way to support the channel and helps me bring you more videos just like this one. Okay, so for the price, I think what Asus did here is a pretty good offer. A good build quality with pre-built RGB fans, also the RGB controller. The packaging is a little bit disappointing, but I will definitely recommend buying this case. And that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to write it down below in the comment section, and I will see you in the next one.